Hello, babes. Welcome back. As always, thank you for being here with me, whether you are past, present, or future. I'm so grateful, whatever timeline you join me. And, I feel like these sessions are always so deep. Anytime I take a breath like that, it's like, oh, dang, okay, we're going to go somewhere. There has been a story on my heart, on my mind, on my soul for so long now, almost a year. And I was constantly in this space as an entrepreneur where, I'm like, gotta put my healing on display, This might save somebody, right? And it was this martyrdom of self-sacrifice. It's like, I don't have any time for me because I'm so busy serving you. And while I love serving y'all, I love you all so much. You guys bring so much joy to my life, like magnetism, joy, pleasure, connection, safety. Like, I really truly love my community. They're so beautiful. Even with all our flaws, we're still really beautiful. And so I was reflecting on this like martyrdom where I couldn't. Spiritual burnout was so real. I was like, I have nothing. And even if I had something, I don't want to give it to you. I'm in a season where I just don't want to. I need it for myself. And in one of these episodes, I'm talking about the barren places, and that's a season that I feel like I'm in. And for all the times that I was like, should I start talking about this? All the shoulds, right? Should I start or I should start? And I kept feeling like in my gut, it's like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to share this because I don't think I was resourced enough to be able to do so that would communicate with clarity, reverence, and respect for my experience, for the truth of my experience. I could have showed up wildly emotional. You could have heard me in all my stories. And who's to say you might not in this, right? You'll definitely hear some stories come up. But I'm aware of them. And that awareness is everything. And so that is why I've been in prayer. It's like, now's the time. Now's the time to let people into your experience. It's time to let people into your process and love on each other from that place of humanity and from that place of grace and really seeing each other. And so, I don't know if it'll be all this. I have a little bit of a timer on today, so it might be a multiple piece. Personal essay, maybe, where I'm going to talk about my pregnancy with you and the challenges that I have had in the entirety of that experience and the wake of it. I'm in the wake of it, and I wonder how long I will be in the wake of it. And I feel like that will be a long time. And so this piece is about grief. This piece is about fear. This piece is about shame. And I share this because I know in my soul that there are other people that have gone through this similar experience, who feel the same way that I feel now, maybe even years later, right? Grief is just such a, the mother of the ocean, right? It's so deep. And that has been my experience of this. And so I want to take you to the beginning of this journey. And this is September of 2024. My partner and I are here in Mexico City and find out that I'm pregnant. And we've been together for a year and a half. So much love between us, so much care between us. Our relationship is so beautiful. For the people who have been in our community, you guys love us, we love you. we're beautiful reflections of each other, me and this person, my partner, David. And so we get pregnant. And when I'm looking through a logos perspective of my life and his life, first of all, it's like a surprise. I don't know how I'm feeling, because it wasn't until more recent years that I had ever even began to consider the concept of motherhood. For me, for a very long time, I was like, nope, I don't want kids. The buck stops here. No more trauma. If I don't have kids, I can't pass it on. I had a lot of fear that was driving that decision subconsciously. And it wasn't until later years in life that I actually started to sit with that, because I needed to understand that a bit better. Because biology started to happen, and I was like, well, I feel like my body is telling me it wants kids. But so it just, I was like, do I really want kids, or is this just my body doing what my body does and kicking my hormones into overdrive? So I really started to sit with that, like motherhood, like how do I feel about motherhood? What was reflected to me in my life of motherhood? And so I unpacked that, like how I felt in relationship to my biological mother, which we've never really been in contact, except for when I was really, really little. And there's not a bond there. I had a stepmother, same thing. It's like grew up together, but there's a barrier there, right? So it's like I'm not quite trusting my birth mother. I'm not quite trusting my stepmother. There's this like fear of the feminine, which, maybe on a different episode, if I decide to get into it, we could talk about ancestral trauma, because there's deep fear of the feminine in my ancestry. Deep fear of feminine. And so there's these barriers to connection with the theme of motherhood and the concept of motherhood. I really missed out in my childhood of feeling that like, oh, when I go into your arms, I feel safe and I feel loved and I feel cared for. I didn't get to receive that from my mother figures. And my grandmother is like angel. I felt that space with her. I felt such deep love and acceptance from her. So much desire to know me as a person. Always so curious about what I'm doing, always asking what I want and then giving it to me. Like, it was the best. God bless you, Grandma. I love you. Like, and her, she's passed now, but her and I's connection is so strong. I have these chimes of hers that are very little. They're so little. Their sounds are so sweet and light and high-pitched. And it's this tiny little wind chime that is hanging up on the terrace upstairs. It's the sweetest notes. And even despite the chaos of Mexico City, when those start to ring, I can just focus on those and I am transported to her love. It's so beautiful. It's so special to me. I'm even getting like emotional in my chest. Just like, that's love for me. Those moments with my grandma. I knew this would get emotional, y'all. But it's real and it's pure and it's true. So God bless you. I love you. So these are my examples of motherhood, my perspective, right? From my shoes, from my innocent mind, trying to figure out what this whole thing is. Who are you? What is your role? Are you fulfilling it? Okay. Who are you? You're like, okay, like just putting the puzzle pieces together from birth. I'm like, okay, who fits in where and what's happening? The sooner I can figure this out, the sooner I can, shift. Shift out of this reality into the next reality. But I need clarity to do that. And so I started to unpack motherhood. And it brought me on a really beautiful healing journey, if I'm honest. Like, with my birth mother, I was never sure if we would get closure. I was never sure if we would be able to develop a relationship of trust that felt like that love I received from my grandmother. I don't know. When I feel into my body and I try to sense an essence or be receptive to an essence of truth, I'm like, oof, that road feels tough. I'm open to it and it feels tough. So there's baggage there. And even with closure, there's just an undeniable weight that I feel around that. And, work to be continued, right? It's like not a finished product. And so by going down that and understanding the feminine role in my life and how it has played out and why certain factors have played out the way that they have, I have a lot more grace and compassion for myself for what I went through as a kid, but also just for life and how life is flowing through the unique expression that is Tiffany. And so I started to soften into the concept of motherhood. I softened into it. And there would be times where, I'd be holding babies and my friends would be like, that's a good look on you, girl, and I would kind of just chuckle like, I always saw myself as like the world's children are my babies. Everybody is my baby. Everybody's my baby. An 80-year-old man, he could be my baby, like I'm connected to God. Like, you're my child. It's so beautiful. Everybody's my babies. And I really do, I want the world's children to be my children. I want to be such a key part of how they learn to be in the world. Because I want to remind kids, your expression is so beautiful. Please do not dumb that down. Harness it, right? Get a grip on it. Really whew, right? There's whoa, that's your power. That's your divine will. That's your gift. I want kids to remember that. Be out here vibrant. Please. The world needs more vibrant souls. Give it to us. Replenish our spirits. Right? Kids, God bless them. They deserve the world. They deserve the world. And so I have this vision where at some point in my business, I'm connected into a nonprofit and I get to direct some of my energy towards children in trauma theory and embodiment and the ways of connecting with life, the way that I've learned to connect with life, and just expand their minds and expand their resources. Continue to enable them to be free thinkers so they don't miss out on anything that their life has to offer. Teach discernment, all the values. So I always saw myself like that. And I was me with an actual child, I was I don't know. Sometimes I could see it. I always thought it'd be so cute to have a mini me. Obviously equally frustrating, I'm sure at times too. But God bless her. I already love her. You're so cute. Of course I'm going to love you. And be excited about teaching this soul the possibilities of life in one perspective, right? And there will be many teachers on her journey. Many teachers. It's my role as a steward of consciousness that is that child to do my very best to provide the best environment for that being. Right? That's how I want to bring a child into the world. And that requires my own ability to be resourced, my own ability to feel safe in my body, in my neighborhood. Not that I don't feel safe in my neighborhood. I love my neighborhood. It's amazing. But just to bring perspective, right? It's our next environment, the next environment where I'm at socially, right? And I knew that I did not want to bring a baby into the world stressed out, underweight, going through crazy changes, like time and place. All of it's divine at the end of the day, because, and I'll get into this later, like when I tell you guys my story of my pregnancy, you'll be like, girl, you are tapping into something just beyond. And the way the Spirit speaks to me, it's just so wild. So I started to soften around motherhood, because I was like, maybe. When I was in Australia, I've traveled a lot, y'all. And when I was in Australia for a while, I was an au pair. I was a nanny to this baby, this family, and they had a baby that was 4 months old. Oh my God. Bright blue eyes. Every time I would come, it would just light up. I was like, oh girl, we have a soul connection here. Like, wow. Like, I just felt so much beauty in her presence. And I could tell immediately she felt so safe with me. I was like, wow, there's something to explore there. Like soul connections and tethers and the roles that we're meant to play. And so I fell in love with her. I was only there for a couple of months because COVID hit and the world changed very quickly. And so that was no longer an option. And, but in that 4 months, I just spent time with her. I would just watch her incessantly, looking at what she's looking at, watching her gestures, how she moves, how she would communicate with her hands, her sounds, her different wiggles of her feet or toes, like just in such deep awareness of her. And she would talk to me all the time, and I was like, girl, I bet you're giving me serious downloads, and I wish I could understand you, but I trust that I'm receiving whatever it is, right? And that we're having a dialogue. Like, I'm speaking to you in English, you're speaking to me in baby, and we are like in relationship with each other. We are learning a lot. She taught me so much. And that's, I think, like when I kind of started to enjoy the idea of motherhood, where I was like, wow, what a gift. What a gift to have this creature come into your world and to get to have this experience of life. Because even for its challenges, we have to admit, it's really beautiful. There are really beautiful moments that just are captivating. At least in my perspective. I'm always able to find that. That's such a gift I have. And I'm blessed for that. And so being a nanny to this baby was like, wow, I love you. We are soul sisters. You are teaching me so much. I have to know that I'm also like teaching you what it is to feel safety in another person. And like I would respond to her body. Like it was, the motherhood genes got activated where I was like, I'm with you. I want to make sure you feel good. How can that is my job, quite literally. So how can I support you? And yeah, it just softened me. It made me feel really beautiful, and it made me start to consider what that option would be like for me. And that's where I was sitting at it. I didn't figure it out. I was just sitting in that same thought for years. And so in September, when David and I got pregnant, there's just this initial surprise and this shock about it that's like, oh, okay. We've got to figure this out. How do you feel about this? Like there was so much conversation to be had and very quickly. And to a degree, I think kind of a big degree, there was excitement. Like, wow, like we both enjoy the idea of stewarding a little baby into this world. We love the idea of that, right? Throw some Disney on it. I think it looks really cute. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get you cute dresses. This is going to be amazing. I'm going to take you out for ice cream, just like my grandma did for me. Like, we're going to do it. And it is that also, right? And then there's this reality of when I'm looking at my life and I've been nomadic for 8 years and I love it. I love getting to see parts of the world, and not even just seeing parts of the world, but like experiencing them. I've experienced Lake Atitlan, Guatemala. I'm experiencing Mexico City. I experienced Australia. Let me tell you, I wow. I came online in Australia. I was like, whoa, I have arrived on Earth and this is different. It's like I finally landed in my body. Gosh, I miss it. The outback is just next level. I forgot where I was going with that, you guys. Sorry. But I know that I'm speaking about my kind of transition to this openness and this experience, this Disneyland of parenthood, and looking around at my actual reality, being like, I'm a nomad. I don't have a permanent place. That's always kind of shifting and changing, because to some degree I feel a little bit of like a missionary, where I'm like, hey, God is going to take me to these places in order to speak about what I know, to elevate healing in the world. I do know that that is a big purpose of mine. And I'm meant to do it in undernourished communities where people's hearts and souls need nourishment. I am providing that 100%. So there's a fear there. I'm an entrepreneur, inconsistency in business, months where there is no business, and I'm still learning, because I was never truly taught how to manage finances and I know how to divide my money and deviate that, but it's like, how do I keep that, hold that consistently, and then elevate that to more? Because I have bigger visions in my heart, and these aren't just my visions, right? These are like, God will place me in those places. I've seen what I've seen about my life. It's absolutely next level incredible. I literally already know where my house is. I was given the floor plan. I've got my Pinterest board on it, like that. I will be living there. It's so beautiful. And even this is a sacred act of that, right? Of the extension of that. So thank you for helping me manifest that. So softening, opening, Disneyland, right? But looking at my reality, it's like, man, I'm seeing inconsistencies. And that in and of itself felt heavy. Put a child on top of that, and the needs and desires on top of that with business. I literally could not see how I could hold it. I couldn't see it. And I'm saying this very calm now, but in the moment, those were many weeks of me just in constant spiraling, in constant emotion, terrified, absolutely terrified. I was terrified to not have it and what that would do to me. I was terrified to have it and what that would do to me. And I know that sounds very selfish in nature, and also, if I'm going to steward, I'm trying to steward to the best of my ability. I'm not trying to do it malnourished, undersupported. And I felt undersupported by life, right? And this is like where I bring intimacy with spirit and God into this picture, because at a very true core level, my fears were driving me crazy. I couldn't sleep. I could barely eat. I was so exhausted and so depleted, and my mind was just amplifying everything because there was nothing to keep me grounded. And what that revealed to me in this whole thing that I'm still really like going down in this journey is how much that moment, that window and period of pregnancy shook any foundation that I had created for myself. Self-reliance, overproductivity, outsourcing, blew all that down. And so that was a really hard time for me. That window was so hard. While also wanting to manage my partner's experience, or at least be there for my partner's experience, checking in, and it was just chaos. It was just chaos. And we were doing our best, both and, as above, so below. And so I had a window. I had a window to make a decision, because after that window, things would get a lot more complicated. And I didn't want that for anybody. for all parties involved. And so I'm sitting at this gate of motherhood. And I'm also sitting at this gate of every moment up until that moment I've lived in my life, and I can see it visually. We talk about how God speaks to me in visions. Like, there is a gate where it is my life up until that point. I see all the beautiful moments I've had, all the fun moments I've had, the lovers I've had, the connections I've made, the places I've visited, like this innocent, youthful freedom. And I see that. I see this gate where I choose motherhood. But I can only see so little in that gate. It's like I actually don't know if I can see it, but there's a felt sense behind that gate that also has a different felt sense attached to it, right? I saw a gate of not having this baby, and it was cold, and it felt isolating, and I felt alone. And David took me on this meditation, which was so beautiful, and he was like, are there any other gates? Like, what if there is another gate where it is both and I felt that, and that felt nice. Like, wow, to be able to actually do that and offer that would be amazing. That feels beautiful. Even now in my body, that feels beautiful. And it was like I could only hold that sensation in my body for a moment, y'all, and it would disappear. It was like I could feel it for a glimpse, and I could feel it kind of deep, but then it was just gone. Right? It's like I couldn't hold that sensation. We talk about somatics and the energy that our bodies absorb, that our field absorbs, because we are energetic beings. And within this body are a network of systems that are doing their best to operate for your best case scenario, right? For your thrival, for their thrival, and for the purpose. And so these systems are always impacted. And something that I talk about in my resilience trainings, resilience actually meaning softness. It's the most rebellious thing we can be in a world that's so hard, is how they are impacted. And so everybody has a window of tolerance, so to speak. A window within where your ebbs and flows are okay. They're not really tipping you over the edge. But the closer you get to that edge, the more your body starts to feel it, and the more your mind starts to amplify that. So that's agitation, frustration, irritation. Or on the opposite side of the spectrum, it's like slowly starting to distance until you start to become a bit more out of your body, like not really in the moment physically. And so you have a tolerance, right? And there's only so much your nervous system can handle unless it is trained to be more adaptive and responsive to its environment, actually. So not responding based upon a thought that feels really similar, but isn't actually happening to me in the present moment. Old relationship stories, projections, etc., etc. Or am I actually being threatened right now, right? There's like a rewiring of our nervous systems that we get to do so we feel more adaptable and triggered less easily, including if you have trauma. So when I'm telling you that I'm in this gate and I'm feeling this quick, then it's gone, connection of it, I couldn't hold it. And even if I tried to kind of chase it and explore that thread a little bit further spiritually, I couldn't. And so even for that beat, that pulse, that moment that I was like, oh, that felt really nice. But I don't know that kind of safety, right? That was immediately the story that came through from, I don't know that kind of safety. And ultimately, when I'm looking at that from this angle that I'm at now, a year later, it's like I can so clearly see, it's like I don't have faith. I didn't have trust in myself. I didn't have trust in my partner. I didn't have trust in the two of us as a unit. To be with the reality of that, it's like that's where I was at that time. I was like, ooh, that could be amazing. And I could fantasize about that, but this feels very real and very current and very alive. And I say this not to shame or blame or bring any of that in a negative light. It's just the light was shown on what wasn't working very clearly in those moments. And if my desire in motherhood is to steward at a certain standard, I wanted that standard. And so I needed time to be able to course correct my life so I could bring that into fruition in the future. Like, should I choose that, right? And all of these gates had a different temperature to them. They had a different color, different markings, different visions. And I'm seeing them, and I chose to terminate that pregnancy. So I'm in that cold, dreary, isolated. I'm in that. And knowing that I'm in that allows me to know, dang, I really chose fear. I chose fear even out of that glimpse of love and hope and connection that I felt. Like, dang. Dang, babe. It's a position I never want to be in ever again in my life. I cannot. And so, to wrap up this episode, there's so much more to this to share. I'm thinking about that. Where in my life have I chosen fear, even over a glimmer of my hope, of the desire that's been put in my heart, of my dreams, whatever the thing is for you? You can consider that as well. That was a decision that I did not make lightly. It was torture. I was in the depths of hell. I don't know if I could explain to you quite yet. But I was in the depths of it. And I feel grief that won me over. And now I get to fix the things that were needing more awareness. Needing more care and more attention, including myself. I love myself as a human being. I think that I'm amazing. I make myself laugh. Like, me, myself, and I have a great time together. Like, we're good. I'm a Gemini, manifesting generator. Like, I can literally create whatever I want with my mind. It's crazy. So I have a good time. And again, like, coming back to that martyrdom, it's like, whew, when you're an entrepreneur that's teaching your embodied experience, it sometimes feels like you got to be online all the time. And you got to be willing and ready to share all the time. And I've sprinkled little parts of this into my content kind of ominously, but this is an opportunity for me to bring this to light for myself, share, because it's so real. And it's so hard. The grief of the story is so hard. So thank you for listening to this. For those who feel touched or loved or seen, I love you. I feel you. And I'm grateful that we're here together, whatever this capacity looks like for now. It's please feel free to share comments, share with people you know, you love, continue the conversation with me in your own communities. I hope this inspires you, and I recognize that this story is pouring love into a shadow aspect of our psyche, shadow aspect of our experience. And it needs it. We need to feel loved too in that experience and cared for. So I pray that this message takes care of you and that we continue to explore it in the future. Have a beautiful day.